Welcome back to Situation Room. The nation is celebrating Yom Shakur, and following the Pahalgam incident, the Prime Minister and the State of Pakistan has described this whole episode as Marka-e-Haq, and annually this year would be remembered as in the remembrance of this Marka-e-Haq. Hassan Gillani, Pakistan has written history. Pakistan Armed Forces have written history, and yet blessed with one more feather in the cap, Mahnoor and Hassan. Your comments on this whole episode?
Well, certainly it has glorified Pakistan's armed forces. It has elevated Pakistan's stature internationally. It has also boosted Pakistan's image in the eyes of the international community. Nobody is going to now make the mistake of taking Pakistan for granted, especially our adversaries on both sides of the border, especially India, provided it has some sensibility to understand the severity of the situation and understand the lethality of Pakistan's armed forces when it comes to countering aggression. Not resorting to aggression, but countering aggression. But interestingly, the situation in India right now is very interesting, Zahra, because until yesterday, we were seeing that they were furious because they were losing at the hands of Pakistanis. Now they are furious for a different reason. Now they are furious because the US has hinted at offering its help to Pakistan and India to take them to a point where US could play a role in resolution of the Kashmir dispute, or at least facilitate the resolution of the Kashmir dispute. This is something that has sent chills down their spine across the border, and now they are having sleepless nights.
But Hassan, I would interrupt you here, and I would like for the scholarly clarity and for other purposes as well to understand the whole, because we have seen the role of international bodies, and we have seen so many of the conflicts that have been lingering on the agenda of United Nations Security Council and General Assembly. There have been actions, efforts to normalize or resolve the conflicts, third-party mediations, that did not materialize.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And then the question arises that why would India be so worried about that? The reason is that India had actually been very successfully internalized the issue of Kashmir, which is actually an international issue, because the UN says that it has to be resolved in accordance with the UN Security Council resolutions. It is an international issue. India, by abrogating Article 370(35)(a) and presenting Kashmir as if everything is milk and honey and hunky-dory in Kashmir, they had internalized the issue of Kashmir. Now, following this Pahalgam incident and the fight between Pakistan and India, this issue has once again come at the international limelight, and this is what the Indians are finding hard to digest. This is something that Pakistan has been trying to do for the last several years since this development took place in India, and it never happened because the world, for some reason, was not concerned about the issue of Kashmir anymore. But now they've actually realized, as a matter of fact, again realized the gravity of the situation, and they have accepted the fact that this really is an issue. This is a bone of contention. It has to be resolved, or else the two countries will continue to be at loggerheads with each other. And this has internationalized the issue. This has given Pakistan an opportunity to capitalize its military gains made as a result of the victory against India at the international level. Now when India and Pakistan are having this ceasefire, Pakistan is in a stronger position to actually dictate its term to India and international community too, that okay, we'll continue with this ceasefire provided you meet this condition. So it has made Pakistan's negotiating position stronger than before. And in totality, India is petrified, India is angered because of the fact that the world is now again looking at the issue of Kashmir as an international issue.
And India will try their best to ignore such kind of negotiations where Kashmir is being discussed, because India went for the ceasefire to ignore this Kashmir issue. And even people in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir were celebrating Pakistan's retaliation. They were having few hopes that they'll get freedom from India. So India has already seen that the people of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir were celebrating. That's the biggest downfall for the India. That's the biggest defeat for the India. So as Hassan has already said, that Pakistan is at the victorious position. We should be dominant in the negotiation, and we should urge all the parties in the negotiation to talk about this issue, because this is the main issue between India and Pakistan. All of our conflicts are due to
no
this
doubt
issue.
about that. There is no other solution to such conflicts where the life is concerned, where the people's territorial integrity, where the their autonomy is concerned. If these are not respected and these are violated one way or the other, there is no point that a person can think of having a normal relationship.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not that following a simple tweet on X, Trump is going to come to South Asia and sit down with both prime ministers of the two countries and help resolve the issue. It's not going to happen that way.
But Hassan,
it's a diplomatic, sort of a diplomatic blow, let's say, a diplomatic blow for India. I mean, their diplomatic efforts to internalize Kashmir have failed. The Kashmir issue stands internationalized once again. Yeah.
But it should also concern us that why we cannot, have peace talks without any mediation. Are we not mature enough? Don't we know the horrors of wars or the pangs of poverty which ensue after the war or the conflict situation? Mahnoor, your take on this?
Our counterpart is not ready for that. We tried our best. Even we offered them the impartial investigation, but they didn't accept that. That shows that they are not ready for any kind of de-escalation. They are not ready for any kind of peace prevailing situation. So that shows that our counterpart is not ready for that. Reason behind that is because their economy is run by such narratives. They get the votes due to creating such kind of chaos in the environment. So we have seen that we tried our best for the peace prevalence in the region, but India is not ready for that. For the negotiation for prevailing peace between the two nuclear states, both should agree to a certain point.
Right.
We are trying hard. We have shown to the world, we have shared our stance officially that we want peace. But if our sovereignty being threatened, so we'll attack, we'll retaliate. But India was not ready for that, and up till now they haven't accepted or impartial investigation offer. That shows that they don't want peace. So how can one party try that?
Right.
On negotiation, we need two parties to agree on a certain point. So we have seen that India is clearly not ready for that, because their economy is run on such kind of by such kind of people who are into proxies, who are into terrorism. Their industry, their media industry is being run by such kind of people. So India cannot leave terrorism in the region. They cannot leave proxies, because their state is run by that, their economy is run by that. So Pakistan alone cannot do anything. I believe there must be a regional power, there must be a global power who should guide India, that it would be it would have very bad repercussions for them if they'll continue doing such kind of things, and they are continuing embarrassing the other countries who are having warplanes or military deals with them. So India need to stop this embarrassing situation for the other parts.
And also, Zahra, there is another point, that there are detractors within India, such disgruntled elements who are always trying to disrupt the peace process, trying to derail the peace process. I mean, I'm sure you can recall that in the early 2003 or 4, India and Pakistan, when the Congress party was in power, Pakistan and India had started off a very successful composite dialogue process, which included discussion on resolution of the issue of Kashmir, resolution of the Baglihar dispute, resolution of the Siachen dispute, resolution of the Sir Creek dispute, and so many other problems which were acting as irritants between the relations were to be resolved. And then all of a sudden, things started to change. The peace process was derailed, the two countries snapped their diplomatic ties, then the Samjhota bomb blast took place. Pakistan was accused of India of having a hand in that, despite the fact that those killed in the Samjhota Express, majority of those were from Pakistan and majority were Muslims. And then India started to raise fingers towards different organizations in Pakistan. Ultimately, it turned out that the act of terrorism in the Samjhota Express.
So the pattern is already there. You see the recent
in 2007, it turned out it was carried out by the RSS goons. And then 4 of those goons, they were tried in the Supreme Court, and then due to lack of evidence, they were set free. And now, 17, 18 years after that Samjhota bomb blast, the victims of Samjhauta Express are still seeking justice, despite the fact that it was proven that it was linked to the RSS handiworks. The Supreme Court could not hand over penalty to those who were tried and they were set free.
Right. Conflict with India won't have large fiscal impact on Pakistan. This is the statement by Finance Minister of Pakistan as of today. How do you evaluate this statement?
Well, India and Pakistan, if they really collaborate with each other economically and commercially, it could be a win-win situation for both countries. But despite the fact that Pakistan and India are not collaborating on the business front, Pakistan is not banking or completely counting on India for its economic development. Pakistan is exploring multiple other options with the regional countries, with important Western capitals. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump has said that now that Pakistan and India have paid heed to his calls for ceasefire, he's going to promote cooperation with both the countries. So Pakistan will be having tremendous opportunities. But Pakistan is a country which is so rich in its own self, in terms of its resources, in terms of potential for economic development. Pakistan is inviting foreign investment from different world capitals in the mineral sector, in the industrial sector, in the agriculture sector, and so on and so forth. So it's not about getting stagnated if India does not cooperate with Pakistan. Of course, India and Pakistan, if cooperate, it's going to be mutually beneficial, but it's not that Pakistan is stagnating or sort of, at a dead end, that we cannot progress, we cannot prosper without India. That's not the case.
We have so many of the aspects among the nations which, if properly utilized, we can bring the wonders to life, given the resources and potential of this region. And the world has acknowledged that Asia is one of those continents that has a lot of potential. But given its multi-ethnicity, the conflicts are prevailing, and yet the democracies are not maturing. Would you agree to this statement?
I second the statement, but the issue lies behind that is that if we collaborate with each other, the two neighboring countries, we have same culture. We collaborate in a better manner as compared to the collaboration with the Western countries.
Right.
We exchange our agriculture goods with each other. We exchange our appliances or machinery with each other. We have a lot of potential. We have a lot of potential in both the countries. We have manpower in both the countries, which unfortunately is serving the Western countries.
Right.
So I believe that both the democracy should sit together without
But I think given the situation where country is celebrating Yom Tashakkur, and we have seen that it has still emerged from this ceasefire, and this was a deadly attack. Had it was the calculation of India that Pakistan is sitting idle and it is not prepared. Had that been the case, India would have as it has tried to entrap Pakistan, we have come to understand with the technical analysis over the days that how it has tried to trap Pakistan in the soft scale and hard scale and all those things. Our enemy is very wicked, and we cannot expect the war, we cannot expect the peace to prevail, because starting from the very initial confidence building measures along the line of control and all those things, there are so many aspects. You have given an example of Samjhauta Express. If we cannot have reliable infrastructure or communication linkages, in the absence of any open communication between the two nations, we have seen that India is playing covert games inside Pakistan. So it would take a lot of hard time and long time for the two nations to come to some terms.
Zahra, enemy is wicked or enemy is coward, but we are mature enough to understand the severity of situation. We have seen that India was provoking Pakistan, but we have shown immense maturity, or forces have shown immense maturity. Even people were started commenting that we should retaliate back, but we have shown maturity. That shows that we are a mature nation. We know the repercussions of wars, we know the repercussions of retaliation. We were giving time to India to realize their mistake. The situation nowadays is quite tense because our enemy is wicked, covered, but still in a very confusing state of mind. They don't know what to do. So I believe that Pakistan, being a mature country, being a mature democracy, have shown to the world that what we can do. We can retaliate back, but on the other hand, we have other things to focus on. So that shows that Pakistan is like on a safer side as well, because they are not aggressive, they are not in hurry, they are not having such kind of expansionist approach. So we will obviously will try our best to make India realize their mistake by our mature acts, which we have already done, by our mature stance, by our mature act, by our mature, we were waiting for them. We when our information minister announced that we have credible intelligence information that India would attack within 24 to 36 hours. So we have seen that it was a message given to them that we already know what you're going to do, please behave, but they didn't. So that shows that Pakistan is a mature state, and we being a state, being a citizen, of being a media person, being we have acted really maturely in such kind of situation. The few things that India need to understand is that there are no true winners of the war. No one can get benefit out of it. We don't have any fiscal impact of it until unless the war is discontinued. If it would continue, both the countries would suffer.
True.
We have seen that India suffered a lot in our counter strike. We have seen there were human loss, we have seen there were infrastructure loss, we have seen that there were military loss, and there were huge economic loss as well.
True.
So it's not the fact that no one would suffer. Everybody was suffered in war. It's not like it's not a game that one would win and one would lose. It's
not a great science.
And this is exactly interesting that after following this whole episode, Pakistani stock exchange has seen the surge in its points, and
we have gained 9% today.
9% today. So
and another very important development has been, which has been quite a pain for the Indians, is that while we were having this fight at the borders, IMF approved the next tranche of $1 billion for Pakistan. In the executive board meeting of the IMF, according to reports, India was dead against the idea of Pakistan being given approval to the next tranche of $1 billion, but it didn't work. So the world is basically looking Pakistan in a very positive light. It is because Pakistan's economic progress has been notable. Pakistan's reforms agenda is proving to be successful. Pakistan is working on its economy really hard. Pakistan's economy is performing really well. So the world has completely detached Pakistan's economic performance from what is happening at the borders.
And Pakistan has made a comeback on multiple fronts in a very short period of time, which is certainly a very big achievement. And Pakistan cannot afford to lose economic gains it has made in a couple of years since the transition of this democratic term. Peace remains elusive in this region, and given the complex political dynamics of the region and the regional interest of different countries, the peace would remain elusive.
Peace would remain elusive for two reasons. One, because India wants to maintain hegemony, and second, it wants us to be under coercion and duress.
But that would not change its DNA of having this desire to have a hegemon.
Zahra, we have to keep in mind one thing, that when we say India, of course we are referring to the current incumbent regime in India, which is of course the BJP government. There is no doubt that the majority of those in BJP right now are hardliners, are hawks. At the same time, we have to keep in mind that if you look at the history, BJP on several occasions has always tried to extend a hand of friendship to Pakistan. If you recall, in 1999, BJP was in power, and Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the late Atal Bihari Vajpayee, was the Prime Minister. And he came all the way from Delhi to Lahore. That was called the Lahore bus service, right? Then in
Aman Ki
Asha started. And then in 2002, our then President, Mr. Parvez Musharraf, went to Agra, and there was this Agra summit between Mr. Vajpayee and Mr. Musharraf. Again, BJP was in power. Unfortunately, the current BJP is having such a shape that there are a handful of dirty minds at work. Amit Shah, Ajit Doval, Rajnath Singh, Narendra Modi, and a few more people. They are constantly conspiring against Pakistan. So as long as these 4 or 5 people are sitting at the helm of affairs, I'm afraid that any chance of peace or tranquility or amity or sort of a harmonious coexistence between the two countries seem to be very minute.
That's right. How do you see the political atmosphere within the country post this ceasefire?
I believe in Pakistan it's quite stable. We have seen that there are no political parties, all are under one flag, all are supporting government, all are supporting military, all are supporting the state narrative. And the youth is playing a very responsible role. They keep themselves calm in such kind of crisis, in such kind of chaos. They are trying hard to make memes, they are trying hard to, to normalize the situation. And they were standing with the military. We have seen videos, they were supporting them, they were chanting with them, we were having rallies in their support in the time of crisis, in the time when there were drone attacks, when we shot down the drones in Pakistan. People were coming out of their homes in solidarity with the Pak army. They were supporting, they were chanting that we are with the Pak army, and that has shown a very good strength, and Pakistan has shown unity. That is a very positive thing in such kind of crisis where we have seen our enemies are trying hard for the liberation movement in Pakistan. We have seen that our enemies are trying hard for narrative building against the state. They are using social media for that, they are using information warfare for that, they are using proxies for that, they are trying to manipulate the young minds. We have seen in Balochistan what they are doing. We have seen that BLA have shown solidarity with India. So we have shown that they have strong impact, yet our youth, the people of Pakistan rejected this narrative. They stood with the forces, they stood with the civil leadership, and that's a very positive thing. And that's an answer to the people who consider that Pakistan's civil military leadership is not on one page. The people are not supporting the government. Youth is, they are trying hard to get out of the country. There is a brain drain, but people are still there. Even in LOC, where they were shelling, they were firing, and people were not ready to leave their homes. They were so much resilient, and they were too much patriotic. They want to, give their life to the country. That shows that how much resilient we are.
And on the other hand, the situation is quite the contrary in India right now. Because it's very interesting, the Congress party and the BJP are at loggerheads with each other on the issue of how India took on Pakistan militarily. They are dragging Modi to the Parliament House to tell us why the Operation Sindoor has failed. Why have you put us through this embarrassment? Why have you made us suffer such a huge loss at the hands of Pakistanis? And also the Congress leader, Mr. Rahul Gandhi is telling Modi that behave yourself because Pakistan is a nuclear power. Do not take Pakistan for granted. Respect Pakistan and get respected. So the situation in India is quite the contrary. On the other hand, as she mentioned, for the first time it seems, I'm very happy to see that all political parties are singing from the same sheet when it comes to dealing with India.
How does wars dent or impact the ongoing narratives or status quo?
Status quo, you mean domestically?
Domestically and intra-domestically.
Right. Well, see, again, war is something which has never done any good to anybody. This is not the century of war. This is not the era of war. We have already seen what is happening in Gaza. Nothing but destruction. We are already seeing what has happened in Ukraine. $350 billion lost. What we have gained: destruction, wreckage, debris, bloodshed, deaths and injuries. So I think it's time that we should learn some lesson. When we say we, it means India, of course, that we do not indulge in activities that could be detrimental to peace, that could put the lives of 1.6 billion people, which is 1/5 of the world's total population in South Asia, at stake. And we should focus more on our respective development. Look at what is happening in India. I mean, their health sector is in ruins, their education sector is in ruins, the road infrastructure in village is in ruins, their joblessness is mounting, their poverty is colossal. I don't know why are they so obsessed with war, and what are they? I mean, if you look at the global map, Zahra, you would see that countries who were at loggerheads with each other in First World War or Second World War are now peacefully coexisting. They are traveling to each other's countries. You know, they are happy with each other. They have forgotten their past. They have given up their animosity, and we are still hovering around the same issues. तुमने मुझे मार दिया, मेरा बंदा चला गया, तुमने क्रॉस क्यों कर दिया, तुमने धमाका कर. What the hell is this?
Right.
Why are we not able to rise above these petty differences, these parochial issues?
Mindset.
Why can't we just look at the future of our coming generations and do something which is beneficial for them?
That's right. But this is exactly the absence of which has brought us to this situation room, and we are discussing the animosity, the effects of adversary, and the effects of rigidity that we have seen pushing the countries into the situation where the governments are least to suffer, but it's the people, it's the humanity that suffers a lot. And we have seen the Indian people, they are not happy with this situation at all. And they also want to, have a better future. They want to have a peaceful future. And we have seen the videos emerging in the past couple of days along the line of control especially. And the Indian people were truly disappointed by their forces. And they were saying our armed forces and our government has pushed us into this uncertainty where we are scared for our lives and we have no place to hide.
Absolutely. And really hope that sanity now prevails, and these four people who have always been engineering and conspiring against Pakistan, they learn some lesson and start to behave themselves, which I think is very unlikely given the kind of statements coming from Narendra Modi.
Right.
I personally think that currently the morale of their armed forces has faltered, and they are not in a position to immediately resort to any hegemonic design against Pakistan. It might take them another few months to sort of recalibrate, re-strategize themselves, re-energize themselves, because the morale is touching ground zero right now.
Right.
The kind of defeat that they have suffered, downing of the aeroplanes, the warplanes, the drones, destruction of a post along the line of control, destruction of their military depots, their arms, their ammunitions, everything is now destroyed, in the real sense. So it will take them quite a while, because their faltering morale and their it's really in a bad shape right now.
At least we can expect some good Bollywood flick on this subject.
We have given them enough stuff. We have given them enough stuff. By the way, the Bollywood is also seeing a decline these days.
Right.
I really hope that this injects some fresh breath in the content that they have been making for the last several years. But it's up to them. By the way, they are good at it. But I'm sure that they will be having a lot of stuff to base their movies on.
Exactly.
It would be really
nice. A lot
nice.
of technology to be put into that movies.
A lot of technology.
And, that they have missed officially in this official.
Even their actresses was criticizing the media of India that they are promoting violence, they are promoting hatred in the region, and they are not telling the truth to the people. So it means that they have already realized what Indian media is doing. They have already realized what Modi government is doing. So India needs a mature leadership, because the current leadership is ruining their own country, they're ruining their own people, their
Even
own
if
future.
you, Mahnoor, witness their social media accounts or their comments on our websites and social, they are the most venomous people on the face of this earth.
Not just venomous, but also crude, repulsive, and illiterate.
That's right. No better words could describe these people, this mentality.
We wish that we could also be as gawar as they are, but we certainly have to respect our boundaries. We are sitting on a state TV. I haven't seen a single journalist on any television network hurling even a slightest abuse against the Indians or their leadership, or calling names. They are calling names, they are saying all sort of filth about us, completely trampling under feet all sort of norms of morality and decency. I don't know.
Distasteful.
And that's not ethical journalism. I believe that media plays a very important role in time of crisis, in time of conflict. They have to act maturely. They have to give the true picture, both sides of the picture to the people, so that they can understand what is the real world situation, and they understand what is happening, so that they can choose their leadership. They can decide accordingly. But the media in India played a very weird role, and they have shown to the world that they cannot be considered as a media person, they cannot be considered as journalists, because they are not even journalists, they are the PR people of the government, they are the PR people of the Modi government who were promoting their narrative, and obviously what journalism
I think calling them PR people is still a very decent term. As a matter of fact, they are, let's face it, they are actually BJP blusters, right?
Exactly.
They're not even propagandists. They are blusters,
Right.
BJP blusters who are basically given a free hand. They have been unleashed to point fingers at Pakistan, to bark against Pakistan, to say all sort of filthy, nasty and dirty things about Pakistan. We are demonstrating enough restraint and enough composure when it comes to responding to their blame game and their mudslinging. But the fact remains that yelling at the top of your lungs, Zahra, does not make your argument or your narrative any stronger.
Exactly.
Right.
You have to be candid, you have to be rational in your opinions, and you have to be articulate. There is no harm in bringing to light the facts that you have. But if you are not able to back your arguments by solid facts and solid proofs, then it is just going to fizzle out. And you know, when we say that you have been fomenting terrorism in Pakistan, they say that, okay, what proof do you have? I mean, proof does not always have to be necessarily catching somebody with the hands in the jar of cookies.
Right.
The circumstantial evidence, the intelligence intercepts, the past record, your history, your reputation says it all.
Right. Can we just conclude it in one word, the whole episode of this Indian pattern over the years? Is it the result of hyper-nationalism? They are in fact tarnishing the very beautiful, very sacred sentiment of having nationalism and having love for your motherland. But when it turns into something like hyper-nationalism, as we have seen in their narratives, in their ideas, where does it lead to the countries?
I believe it's not hyper-nationalism, it's fascism. Nationalism doesn't mean that you have love for your country and you want to eliminate the other country. It's a peaceful coexistence as well. You love your country, you want to promote your country, you want other to live.
That's more of a xenophobic tendency.
So we have seen that Indian fascism, and not only in India, in Kashmir, in other parts of the world as well, in Canada, in US, they have already been exposed very badly.
Right.
So we have seen what India actually want, and we have seen their immaturity, we have seen their expansionist approach, and world have seen them. We were talking about their journalists, where they were calling names, they were shouting, but at the end, what they got? They got, they got defeated on every front, on the media, on the military front, on the borders, on their narrative warfare. They got defeated badly. So that shows that world doesn't buy such kind of things. World actually know the fact and figure, because it's the era of artificial intelligence, it's the era of fact check, it's the era of practical approach as well. We have seen that people and citizen and youth need development. We all need development. We don't want war. Even the people in India are criticizing. On one hand, they are like hyper nationalist. On one hand, they are very cruel towards Pakistan. But on the other hand, they were asking the government why they are doing that, because we have already asked them for the impartial investigation. They are, on the one hand, they are not accepting that. On the other hand, they are accusing us. We have seen, world has seen that BLA openly supported them. That shows that they are too much into proxies, that too much into such kind of chaos and anarchy in the region, and people already in India know that what their government is doing in the region. But still, on the other side, the issue is that they are not mature enough. Their media is trying to control their minds. That's why they cannot understand what is the true situation. So that's why they are like following the government, they are following this kind of cruel approach, they are following the atrocity, they are supporting the atrocities of government.
Right.
But the issue is not that they don't know. The issue is that they cannot survive after speaking the truth. We have seen that even the other, the Muslims, the minorities cannot survive, the Hindus cannot survive after speaking the truth there.
With the this whole thing going on, and the issues that were put to the suspension, the abeyance or suspension of Indus Waters Treaty, it remains a very important aspect of this whole scenario, this Pahalgam incident that has followed. How do you see evolving this issue of Indus Waters Treaty in the days to come?
Well, it's a very serious issue to be dealt with. Let's not let it get overshadowed by ceasefire or the gains that we have made in the fight against India. It's a very important issue because still they haven't called off the abeyance of this treaty.
Right.
And the fact remains that it's, you see, Indus Waters Treaty is not like a tab that they can open or close, right? They can't stop our up. They cannot deprive us of our share of water, let's face it. What they can do is disrupt it, create uncertainty, and create some amount of problems for us.
Right.
Because even if they want to stop the water flowing from the Himalayas and coming to Pakistan downstream from India, they can't do that because they do not have enough space to restore that water in their reservoirs beyond a certain time and beyond a certain level.
Right.
So ultimately they have to release that. But if they hold it for a while and then they release it, that can inundate Pakistan, certain areas in Pakistan, that can affect Pakistan's agriculture yield, that can create uncertainty for the mechanism of irrigation in Pakistan, because Pakistan's economy is 80% dependent on agriculture.
How do you see the preparedness of Pakistan in this regard?
Pakistan should aggressively and very vocally take up this issue with the World Bank and make sure that this treaty should not be used as an arm twisting tool by India against Pakistan. But I am very optimistic that Pakistan has a very strong case. Pakistan has already collaborated a very strong response to that.
Right.
This treaty has survived 2 wars, by the way, 65 war, 71 war, and the Kargil conflict. And every time India had threatened to suspend it and sort of, make Pakistan suffer, it never happened.
Hassan, when a country like India, or for that matter any country which is party to any contract, please enlighten us, how can then unilaterally talk things like this? In other words, they are not disrespecting or threatening the country which is a party in contract with them, but the whole international governing structures, the whole international law, and it should activate the global response. Do you think the global response over such actions, unilateral actions executed by India, first in 2019 regarding the Kashmir situation, and now with this Indus Waters Treaty, do you think the global response has been enough?
Nothing. I mean, see, a country that has been dragging its feet over the UN Security Council resolutions for the last 80 years, 78 to be precise, can do anything. I mean, for them, as compared to UN Security Council, World Bank or the Indus Waters Treaty is something comparatively smaller and of smaller importance. So if they can drag their feet for 80 or 78 years, they can do anything. But this is the time where the international community should spring into action and make sure that this rogue state, which is actually raising serious question marks over the credibility or the authority of organizations like the World Bank and United Nations Security Council, should be made to behave, should be taken to task, should be held accountable, should be given a lesson. But if you let a rogue state operate above all laws and conventions and norms, then ultimately your own credibility is eroded.
Is there a situation of selective justice? As we see the terrorism that is emanating from the soil of Afghanistan is badly reputed and is talked about essentially in the global media. But we don't see the terrorism that is emanated by RSS or covert operations from Indian soil into the Pakistan. This has never been talked essentially or effectively. Is it true?
Yes, it is, and it depends on the stakes of other countries as well. It depends on the stakes of international organizations as well. So we have seen the India is a bigger economy than Pakistan. They have collaborations with the regional power, with the global powers as well. So their tilt towards them is like a bit justified in that case. We already understood that having a strategic partnership with India and considering the Pakistan concern would be like a bit difficult for such regional powers and the global powers. But I believe that Pakistan needs to develop strong diplomatic ties. Pakistan needs to develop strong collaborations with the other countries, with the regional powers, so that they must have some like economic stakes. We have good relations with China. We have brotherly relations with China. Before CPEC we were having, even before CPEC we were having good relations. but we are having a very important regional project here in Pakistan, that is CPEC. And China would not allow any country, including India, to affect it. Even India is always targeting CPEC. Why India is targeting Gwadar? Why they are targeting Balochistan? Why they are promoting proxies there? Just because of CPEC there. Why they are, in collaboration with Iran for the Chabahar port. So we have seen that China has some stakes with us. They are having good relations with us, but Pakistan needs to understand the severity of situation and try hard to have diplomatic ties with such kind of regional powers and have collaborations, economic collaborations with them, so that they would not let China, because we have seen the the role of international community in the crisis where two nuclear power were in the brink of war. They were at the edge of it, and it busted a lot of myths that the two nuclear power would not go for the conventional warfare with each other. But we have seen that. We have seen that. We have seen the strikes. We have seen the counter strikes. And what next? We have already understand the situation that the next would be the nuclear warfare. So
I think that's too.
And it's very interesting, Zahra. If you could just make one point very quickly. She said, spoke about China. Some voices in India are questioning that why China did not come in Pakistan's support as openly as we were expecting. China was very quiet. Well, it's very interesting. Let me tell you one thing. China's silence speaks louder than words.
Exactly.
And
their technologies.
The relationship between
and
Pakistan and China.
I think that's a very responsible on the part of China as well, because it is not
have issued any irresponsible statement. See, the thing is, Zahra and Mahnoor, that the relationship between Pakistan and China is such that even if today Chinese foreign ministry spokesman or person issues a statement that we are not going to support Pakistan in the war with India, even then the people in Pakistan would not believe it.
Exactly.
The relationship is such that even the leadership cannot undo that, because the relationship has now penetrated so deep into our hearts and minds that the relationship is now just not between two states, it's between the two people, it is between the coming generations. And China has always stood by Pakistan. China does not speak much, but China always makes its presence felt when it's needed the most.
And not a single Chinese left Pakistan in such kind of situation, in such a kind of crisis. That shows that how we people are connected with each other, how much we are having good terms with each other.
And I think in a way it is also very essential, because nobody wanted to escalate this situation or give the impression that they are openly siding with one part, because we also understand
there are sensitivities involved.
There are sensitivities involved, and the world is not an isolated place.
And they were looking for the retaliation, and they were looking for the response
from trade relations and all those kind of activities. So we need cooperation. The aim is not to bring out the monsters, but the cooperation.
Yeah, and most of the countries took time because they were looking for the retaliation. They were looking for the response from Pakistan. Is Pakistan going to respond maturely or aggressively?
Right.
So we have shown that we are a sane nation. We are a sane state, and that's why most of the people, most of the states supported us, because we are not the aggressors in the region.
Right.
They have seen that through our act. So even people were provoking us. The Indian media was provoking us.
Yes, it was very
India was trying to
provoke at that time when India was, sending its drones and hovering around, and everybody was saying, "When will you attack Captain?"
And the media was keep on saying that Pakistan cannot retaliate back. They cannot do such things. They have accepted their defeat. And what happened?
Right.
They went for ceasefire. They
eventually everything has to come back to the negotiation table, and this is a height of immaturity to get to the battlefields or go to the situation where you kill innocent civilians. I'm more concerned about the people who have lost their lives during these few
That's very
days.
sad. I mean, our heart goes out to those people. We have seen the army chief and other people, Pakistan's political leaders, going to them and visiting them and inquiring about their health. It's very, very painful.
Right. Well, this has been a wonderful episode with Mahnoor, Qureshi, Hassan, Gillani in the Situation Room. We hope to identify some of the essential happenings that are taking place, and we also hope in the days to come the situation will evolve in a manner that would benefit the region and bring normalcy to the region. Let's hope very fine. Take care. Allah Hafiz.